We've been here to work out. We've been here to shoot. We've been here to learn, to train, to inspire.
But this is about more than just a building renovation or even a red carpet. For many here, it's about rededicating themselves to the values that make the LAPD what it is.
This place has created the greatest police officers in the United States and maybe the world. This is the place that teaches work ethic. This is a place that teaches integrity. This is a place that teaches honesty in everything that we do.
And of course, the Academy is also celebrating decades of training officers on how to keep LA streets safe. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The LAPD's oldest living detective, Edwin Lee Chapman, who is 96 years young, was also honored at the event. And as the new Historic Academy celebrates its grand reopening, a new generation of LAPD officers will soon be helping the facility write its new chapter. Here's more from the latest LAPD graduation ceremony.
Left, left, left.
It's been a long life dream that I've been had since I was a kid.
To be honest, it doesn't feel real. This feels like it's a dream.
But it isn't a dream. For these 24 Angelinos, it's a dream come true.
In that big building up there, City Hall, there are millions of people who support what you're doing and thank what you're doing.
The commissioner's words meant even more at this graduation, held during a time when the community's relationship with law enforcement is being tested across the country.
Despite these challenging times, all of us here know that you, the newest members of the LAPD, will work to build bonds of mutual trust and respect with the communities you serve, because you are working for the finest police force in the nation.
What's truly gotten them to this day has been the strength of their inner character. For law enforcement is a profession that requires an enormous inner strength of character. And that is something that we have not and could not teach.
And after 24 weeks and 912 hours of training in front of family and friends, the time had come.
I feel like I'm ready to go out there and make a difference in the city of Los Angeles. And I pray for my classmates that we're all going to thrive out there and be safe.
The LAPD is the third largest police department in the nation. While the LAPD helps connect the Latino community with city services, a lighting conference shines a bright light on the future of city streetlights, and walking to school for some kids just got a lot safer. All these stories in City Beat. The LAPD's Rampart Station recently hosted a Latino community forum to facilitate conversation between police, community leaders, and the general community. Various community service providers were also on hand to ensure folks know what resources are available, such as healthcare and immigration services.
The objective of this forum is to really bring the community together, to show partnership, to create relationship with the community.
Mayor Eric Garcetti gave remarks at the 2016 Illuminating Engineering Society Street and Area Lighting Conference. The event brings together bright ideas and bright lights from some of the country's top lighting engineers and technicians to find innovative ways of improving outdoor streetlights so that they do more than just provide light.
How can a light be more than just something that provides safety? How can it inspire us through its architecture? How can we attach other things to it that serve other means, whether it's access to technology or dealing with climate change?
For those walking along Yale Street to Castellar Elementary School and the Alpine Recreation Center in Chinatown, some street improvements will hopefully make the walk a bit safer. Project elements along this high pedestrian area in Council District 1 include curb extensions, a landscaped median island, curb ramps, and continental crosswalks. Funding for the project was made possible by a federal transportation grant.
It's little improvements like this, bit by bit, street by street, crosswalk by crosswalk, that are going to save people's lives, that are going to make sure that children, their parents, their grandparents are part of this neighborhood and part of this community for many, many years to come.
Well, they're a group of community members who have one common goal: to save and protect lives. It's a pledge they take seriously, and if you've got what it takes, you may be the next fireman or woman to join this elite group. No, this isn't a gym. This is the 5th Firefighter Career Expo. The Los Angeles Fire Department is looking for a few good and qualified women and men.
We have different venues here. We have venues where we talk about what you need to do to prepare yourself to get on the fire department, either physically and also how to pass the oral exam, and also what to expect if you're hired on the fire department.
The LAFD isn't just a fire department, it's a full-spectrum life safety agency serving more than 4 million LA residents. And just like the city, it's growing. The word is out for future firefighters who just might have the right stuff.
I'm an explorer for Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. I heard about this event on Eventbrite on Instagram, on social media, so I decided to drive down here and check it out because I want to pursue a career in firefighting, and the way to get in is to apply at different places.
My background's fitness, and this has a lot of the skills that I possess, and so it's a great pay, great job, great way to help the community.
Serving the LAFD isn't just about strength of body, it's also about strength of character and the desire to be a hero every day. So why do it?
Save lives, pull people out of burning buildings, the usual.
The Career Expo is just the beginning of the process of becoming a firefighter with the LAFD, but dreams have to start somewhere. To learn more about the next LAFD Career Expo or about becoming a firefighter with the Los Angeles Fire Department, check out LAFD.org. Well, it's not enough for you alone to be prepared. It takes neighbors helping neighbors during a disaster. That's why the community of Los Feliz is practicing emergency drills together in preparation for the big one. Gil Reyes has more from Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
Like dedicated athletes, staffers at Children's Hospital clear one exhausting hurdle after another. The name of the game here is saving lives.
Well, it looks like the staff is getting pretty worn out because they don't know what events are coming. But at Children's Hospital, the Pediatric Disaster Resource and Training Center tries to stretch the limit. We want to force our staff to think about things that, unfortunately, not a lot of us think about.
This is all part of the 7th Annual Disaster Olympics, a time for first responders and staffers here at Children's Hospital to practice emergency situations before the real ones hit.
In this scenario, it's a large earthquake with a 5th grade class.
And prioritizing who gets treated first and who can wait. The victims are played by students from nearby Los Feliz Elementary School.
We're triaging, which is to sort all of our patients that you see behind us. All the tarps are different colors of severity of injuries, with the red being the greatest and the green being the least.
City fire officials say in a real earthquake, crews will likely be too busy elsewhere to respond immediately. So it's up to hospitals, businesses, and schools to know emergency escape plans, first aid techniques, and other basics, and to practice them often. The kids also learn that cool heads prevail.
If there's something bad happening, don't panic.
So this is an event really for the community. We want the children as well as our staff, as well as the folks helping staff these events to learn to be prepared, stay vigilant. You never know when something bad's going to happen.
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Now, the LA City Fire Department urges hospitals, schools, and churches to practice similar preparedness drills at least once a year. Well, did you know that going green can save you money? Well, just a few small changes at home can make a big difference, not just for your wallet, but for the environment as well. And it's not as hard as you may think. As part of LADWP's program to spread the word about energy efficiency throughout the city, the department joined with the community of Boyle Heights to show low-income residents that it doesn't always take money to save money.
To really get the word out to the community about the programs we offer in energy and water efficiency, as well as bring together the community for a fun afternoon of music, food, and events.
The Eastside Solar Festival, held at the Mariachi Plaza, was a chance for the LADWP to encourage energy efficiency by offering free low-flow shower heads and sink aerators to help residents reduce water usage.
But we also are in the process of rolling out a program to give every household in the city 2 free LED bulbs Those are high-efficiency light bulbs that use very little energy. Over the next 6 or 7 months,
City agencies, local businesses, and nonprofits also took part in the effort.
We are implementing a program on behalf of the South Coast Air Quality Management District that provides between $4,000 to $9,500 to residents that live in low to moderate communities towards the purchase of an advanced technology vehicle such as a plug-in hybrid or an all-electric vehicle.
Even the live entertainment was earth-friendly with a 100% solar-powered stage.
We have bundles of rebates for electric vehicles, as well as programs for solar panel installation for low-income families. We want to make sure that we democratize our climate change policies.
Irrespective of who they are and where they come from, especially our children and our community members and our elders in Boyle Heights. They deserve to breathe into their lungs clean air. Yes or no?
Officials sending a clear message that everyone can help LA meet its clean energy goals. For programs and ideas on how you can go green, check out ladwp.com. Well, the biggest party of the year brings together some of the biggest names in music. Get a taste of all things Japanese during an annual event and a food festival that'll satisfy all of your cravings. All this in this week's Things to Do. America's biggest block party is back in 2016 with 15 shows in 13 cities. And it's our turn during the first weekend in October. The Mad Decent Block Party features a lineup that includes Cascady, Diplo, Kesha, Dylan Francis, and more. There's no better way to kick off the fall season than with your favorite performers. So don't miss out on this year's Mad Decent Block Party taking place on Saturday, October 1st at Los Angeles Center Studios, located at 450 South Bixel Street. For more, visit maddecentblockparty.com. The Japanese American National Museum hosts dozens of vendors with jewelry, kimono fabric fashions, handbags, ceramics, origami and glass art, and even dog fashions during the 8th annual Kokoro Craft Boutique. At 1 p.m., you can catch a drum performance and other entertainment. Proceeds from this boutique will benefit the museum's education programs. It all happens in Little Tokyo on Sunday, October 2nd from 10 to 4 p.m. Celebrating the foodie culture that Los Angeles has become known for, Eastside Food Festival is a gathering of the best and rising stars from LA's gastronomic scene. The festival supports local sustainability, featuring locally owned and operated businesses, including more than 30 local vendors, including restaurants, celebrity chefs, caterers, locally owned brands, and more, with a focus on the evolving and diverse scenes of LA's East Side. So bring your appetite on Sunday, October 2nd to Max Sennett Studios, located at 1215 Bates Avenue. For more, visit eastsidefoodfest.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Good morning. Welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 27th. I want to welcome you all here. It looks like we've got some kids coming in, some visitors as well, our future leaders. Thanks for being here as well. And we are live on Channel 35 as well. And thanks for participating. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Why don't we go through the agenda? So what's our first order of business?
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Englander moves. Mr. Harris Dawson seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Weezer moves and Mr. Paul Koretz seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay, why don't I ask all to rise? Mr. Koretz, would you do the honor leading us in our flag salute? If all in the council chambers would please rise.
Yes, please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, why don't we run through the agenda, if you would begin.
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety requests that item 1A be received and filed as the property has been determined to be exempt from lien procedures due to an ownership change, and then item 1B be continued for 2 weeks to October 11th.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. Continue.
Items 1 through 3 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do you have cards?
There are cards on item 1.
Let's hold item 1. Prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, continue.
Items 4 through 16 are items for which public hearings have been held. The Public Works and Gang Reduction Committee report for item 11 has been submitted and circulated for consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. Specials members, I don't see any. All right, that was a tad exciting. Okay, let's hold items 7, I believe 8 and 9, and let's prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Continue.
And Mr. President,
1 second, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Forthwith on 6 and 16.
Okay, without objection, so ordered. Continue, Madam Clerk.
And Mr. President, the ordinances for items 5 and 6 will be held over to October 11th unless reconsidered with 12 members present.
Okay, hopefully we'll get there. All right, continue.
Items 17 through 23 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do we have cards on any of these items?
Yes, there are cards on all items except for item 22.
Okay, let us vote on that item. We'll hold the rest. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you. Okay, we have some special visitors that are with us today from Audubon Middle School. Why don't you guys stand up from Audubon? Stand up. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, for whatever reason, the television screens are out to my right and my left, but it is on the computer. So you are, people all over Los Angeles are afforded the opportunity to look at your very good-looking and smiling faces. Mr. Price.
Audubon is my alma mater. I graduated with pride, and I'm happy to see the students here today.
Okay, Mr. Price graduated from Audubon. Let's give Mr. Price a round of applause. Mr. Price, we will not make you tell us what year that was when you graduated from Audubon. Okay, kids, you can sit down. It's okay. I'm going to call Mr. Price up. We have a very special person that we're honoring today, a person that probably most of the young people, most of the folk from Audubon middle school know. So I'm going to ask all of you to pay attention. And maybe you have heard of this man. If you have not heard of this man, I am certain that you are well aware of all of the phenomenal work that he has done. So with that said, I want to turn things over to the great councilman from the new 9th District, Mr. Curran Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'm joined by my colleague, Mike Bonin. You know, at every meeting, we have an opportunity to welcome neighbors and friends to our city and to this august body. And today, we have a chance to welcome a real living legend. Mark my words, living legend. Today, we're going to be honoring Mr. Stan Lee. Known for his dramatic entrances, Stan is on his way in.
Young people, you know who Mr. Lee is, right, don't you? Help him out,
Well,
Mr. Price.
Let me tell you, if you don't, this is the person who invented Spider-Man. Anybody remember Spider-Man? Iron Man.
Raise your hand.
Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk. There he is. He created superheroes that we could all relate to. Superheroes that were flawed, even in all their greatness. No, right here, Stan. Come up here. Don't be bashful. Come back here. Yeah. Come right here.
All right.
Right here.
Wow.
We're not only honoring him for his creativity and his ingenuity, but for his contribution to the economy.
For his looks.
And his looks. But just take a moment and think about how many people are involved in making his characters come to life. Stan Lee is a legend in the comic world. He continues to be a prolific writer. Has made over 80 appearances on TV and films based on his iconic creations. In 2011, he partnered with Regina Carpinelli, whose vision of a major Los Angeles-based pop culture convention focusing on and recognizing Los Angeles' creative economy was set to launch Stan Lee's Kamikaze. And we know that's coming to the Convention Center October the 28th here in our city, and we're very, very excited. Today, we're not only joined by Stan, the man, Lee, we also have the CEO of Kamikaze, Mr. Keith Traylins. Keith, why don't you come on up here also, who's going to speak momentarily. But first, on a more personal note, I want to present our colleague, Councilmember Mike Bonin, a fan who's got a few words to say.
Yes, I do.
A super fan. Michael?
Good morning, colleagues. This is probably the most excited and happy you have ever seen me in council chambers. This is the equivalent of the day when I got this holiday gift years ago, a bunch of Marvel Comics holiday stories, all told by Stan Lee. Let me sort of translate for Stan and for you what this is for me. So, Stan, around this council there are people who are experts in various subject matters. Mr. Krikorian is our point person on budget stuff. Mr. Englander on public safety. I'm sort of the council's point person on comic books, a title I proudly share. For those of you who are not comic book fans and are curious why I'm bouncing around like I did on my wedding day, if you're baseball fans and you look up to the legends of Barry Bonds or Stan Musial or Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron, this is my Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron. Stan Lee is an amazingly transformative figure. I'm actually going to talk about comic books as if it is a serious thing, because for many of us it is. Stan Lee is a transformative figure in comic books. He really made his mark. He started working back in, was it the late 30s with Timely, or early 40s? Late 30s, filling inkwells and stuff like that at Timely Comics, which was a predecessor to Marvel back in the 30s that published Captain America. But he really made his mark in the 1960s when he took an industry that had gotten stale and unimaginative. The stories were rote, they weren't particularly interesting, and the characters were pretty one-dimensional. And Stan transformed it. The characters that he created are huge and diverse, and you've heard of most of them. The Avengers, he created. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the Hulk, the Black Widow, the Scarlet Witch, the Falcon, Nick Fury, the Silver Surfer. All were his work. He created incredibly compelling villains, big ones, Galactus, Annihilus, Doctor Doom, Mysterio, and Magneto. But the thing I always dug about the comics that Stan wrote is he actually created very compelling and human supporting characters. Anybody who's ever read Spider-Man is familiar with Aunt May. Anybody who's ever read The Avengers is familiar with Jarvis, the butler, who is as instrumental to that team as anybody else. J. Jonah Jameson, Alicia Masters, the blind sculptress who was the girlfriend of the horribly disfigured Thing. Foggy Nelson and Pepper Potts, all of these were his creations. He took an industry that was, as I said, stale, and he breathed real life into these characters. So if you were a nerdy little kid growing up, as I was, Spider-Man was not some superheroic guy who was without problems. He was a gangly little teenager who got bitten by a radioactive spider, who couldn't get the girl, who got beat up by Flash Thompson and some of his more athletic colleagues. He actually humanized these stories. Iron Man was an alcoholic. These were real interesting stories that he crafted. And if you were like a nerdy little kid, as I was, he created a universe that you could find compelling and that you could draw yourself into. I could not throw a baseball if you put a gun to my head, but while all my friends were playing baseball, I could retreat into something that Stan created, and I still have some of the ones from when I was a kid that he just signed, and disappear into a world of imagination. And it's because of Stan that what we're experiencing now, comic books being cool, superheroes being cool, that's because he started it. So I just want to thank you for the universe you created, and thank you for the untold hours of enjoyment. And I'm so glad you're still at it. And he has a cameo in all of these Marvel movies. There's a theory out there that he is actually the Watcher, which is one of his own characters. He will probably not confirm or deny, but thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Price.
Oh. Gee whiz, if you can't say something nice about somebody, then...
Hold on, not yet.
Mr. Price. Mr. Lee, Michael, would you move those comic books? Mr. Lee, that seat we reserve for you. If you choose the seat right there by, you can sit right...
He doesn't want to sit. He wants to keep standing. But, we mentioned not only is he a creative spirit, certainly as a tool for economic development. And so we're real excited that Stan Lee's Kamikaze is going to be coming to the LA Convention Center in October. The president of that program is Mr. Keith Tralins, who's going to say a few words before we hear from our man of honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan, take a seat, Stan. You don't want to stand for my speech. I'm not
take a seat. All right, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council Member Price. My name is Keith Traylins, and I am celebrating my 20th anniversary as a proud Los Angelino. And I want to tell the story of Kamikaze. In 2011, Regina Carpinelli, who is shooting our social photos right now, and her brothers, Fabiano Carpinelli and Mario Carpinelli, came up with a crazy idea to put on a comic book convention of their own right here in LA. They wanted to have some fun, but they also wanted to showcase the vibrant and amazing talent base that's right here in Los Angeles. I was an executive at Disney at the time, but I had agreed to volunteer at that first show. And it was very clear after that first show that there is an amazing, incredible community of geeks and nerds and pop culture enthusiasts, in addition to our incredible creative community right here in LA. Simply put, Los Angeles has the most creative and talented people in the known universe, and as such, deserves the best convention in the known universe. Now, Stan joined us shortly after that first show, and we knew from that moment on that we had something special. Since then, our show has gone on to become one of the largest in the nation, with a record of unique experiences, oft-copied features and innovations, and a weekend that has won the Con HQ Con of the Year twice. We are currently defending that. And it all goes back to putting together Stan and LA. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. Now, this year, the show is going to draw more than 90,000 visitors to the LA Convention Center and will generate almost $10 million of business on the show floor for the city, for vendors, and for the convention center. The show makes national news and every year draws more and more visitors to LA on Halloween weekend. It lifts local businesses and will exponentially add valuable resources, revenue, and opportunity to the city in the years to come. And so I am proud to announce that from this day forth, Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo will be known as Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic Con. Right. Yes, I agree. It is our honor to work with Mr. Lee every day, who's an inspiration. For us, every day is Stan Lee Day. But it's also our privilege and honor to work on this show in the name of our great city and all of its great attendees, right? You guys are coming, right? Yeah. So we are excited about our future, and we look forward to working even closer with the city as we together build a bigger, better LA Comic-Con and take over the world. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and now I'm going to shut up so we can get to the main attraction.
Thank you. Let's give him another round of applause.
All right.
That's exciting.
Before we get to that main attraction, I understand we have a slight tape to roll.
My name is Stan Lee. Are you Tony Stank? I wear 'em front. I wear 'em back. It's a superhero secret.
Stan Lee! Is it my imagination?
I'm your imagination. The real Stan Lee's over there. Excelsior.
Look at Mr. Smiles over here. Where's your wife, old man? What a Class A prevert.
aliens with superpowers.
Colleagues, neighbors, friends, stand the man Lee.
I didn't know I was going to make a speech. All I can say, if I was that good, if I had known, I would have asked for a raise. Anyway, I am incredibly honored to be here. I mean, I can't tell you what a thrill this is for me, what an honor it is, and especially to let you know that from now on, the name of our convention, which takes place at Halloween time, will be Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic-Con. And I want to tell you, in doing all those cameos in different movies, I've gotten to meet most of the stars, most of the directors, most of the people everybody would really like to get to know and meet. And I've been talking to them all for the past few months, and we'll try to get as many of them as possible to come to the Comic-Con when we have it. We want to have the most glamorous, sought-after guests possible in the entertainment field, because after all, Los Angeles, to me, is the home of entertainment. This is where it all starts. This is the movie capital of the world, the music capital of the world, everything. It's all here in LA, and we should have the best convention of all, the pop culture convention, and we're going to try to make it so big and so glamorous that you'll be proud as can be of it. And I am certainly proud as can be to be here today and have been treated as beautifully as I have been. I can't thank you nearly enough. Bless you all. You've made me incredibly happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Price, I have two members that'd like to say something. I'd like to recognize Mr. David Rue.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I couldn't let this opportunity go by without rising to show immense excitement, probably just as excited as Councilman Bonin, because my most prized possession is the original Amazing Spider-Man issue number 27. I believe it's the second time Hobgoblin came out. It's a little chewed up, but I also have the original Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 1. Had I known you were coming today, I would have brought those. So I would have brought those in mint condition. So I am super excited. But Mr. Lee, I mean, what you've done with Marvel Comics. I know this is all fantasy, but at the same time, it's based in realism. And the characters that you created were realistic. They were actual people and facing actual human circumstances. So, I mean, I'm just so happy that Hollywood and entertainment has advanced to what it has become with all the special effects, so that the new generations could see, not just in comic books, what I saw growing up and read and enjoyed, but they could see it on the big screen and to a point of realism where it's just amazingly and spectacular. And your creations were amazing. Spider-Man, I know everyone likes the Wolverine, but Spider-Man is the original. And I'm a Spider-Man fan. And thank you, Mr. Lee, for everything that you've done and all the creativity you've fostered amongst us all young at heart. Thank you.
Mr. Paul Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only thing that bothers me is I think we've actually understated Stan Lee's greatness, because we compared it to a Hank Aaron or a Sandy Koufax or a Babe Ruth. But in this field, he really is all of those combined. He is the one person that you think of if you think of the creator and artist and implementer of these incredible comic books. And I've been lucky enough at various times to have some of those originals. I have to admit, I sold Hulk #1 to help subsidize my political career. which is painful to think about. I still have Silver Surfer #1 and some of the other originals. They are so incredibly creative. I don't even know how to describe it. And the fact that you are here and you're so ageless, we've never met before. At 93, it seems almost impossible. So it's just a great honor for the city. I'm so thrilled about your Comic-Con and your name, and just that you're here and honoring us with your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Price. The floor is yours.
Thank you again, Sam. On behalf of a grateful community, we just want to present this resolution to you. It's been signed by all of my colleagues on the council, and we're just so proud of you, proud of your contribution, proud of the legacy that you are a part of and creating here in California and in the world. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time for Mr. Stan Lee. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you and your whole team. Thank you so much. Mr. Harris Dawson, are you prepared? Well, as they're exiting, you can move forward. Okay, as we're waiting for the Stan Lee contingent to leave, Madam Clerk, we have 12 members. Why don't we vote on our ordinances? If you could identify them, and we'll vote on reconsideration.
And that would be item 5 and item 6.
Okay, first vote is reconsideration. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Now let's actually vote on the items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Harris Dawson, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. President and members. Today I rise with several guests to recognize National Recovery Month here in the United States and in the city of Los Angeles. This is an opportunity to recognize everybody who has gotten the victory over whatever habit it is or behavioral problem that they had and gone into a process and gotten into recovery, but also to shine a light on their example so that everybody that's struggling, whether it's drug addiction or food addiction or any kind of addiction, that they can in fact go through a process just like their neighbor, just like their brother or sister, and overcome substance abuse problems or other issues that they have. All around the country, we celebrate the benefits of prevention, the benefits of treatment, and the benefits of recovery. Today, we're happy to be joined by some folks that are doing great work throughout the city of Los Angeles, but especially in Council District 8 and in South LA. We have from HOPICS, the Homeless Outreach Program and Integrated Care System, Veronica Lewis and Stephanie Castillo. You guys should wave. Let us clap for you. With them in District 8 on our Homeless Connect Day, we were able to bring together mental health resources, housing resources, access to showers, home-cooked meals for 110 homeless individuals. 47 of them were able to get California IDs, 26 were able to get haircuts, and 73 were able to receive clothes and shoes. We couldn't have done it without HOPICS. They've been a key part of our work on the Homelessness and Poverty Committee and an anchor for the recovery movement in South Los Angeles. I can't count how many times that when I was at Community Coalition, when somebody got to the point that they wanted to kick their drug habit, to turn their life around, that we sent them to HOPICS, and they came back a changed person and a contributing member to society. So I want to ask Veronica to come up and say a few words.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. As you know, this is National Recovery Month, and I really appreciate you all recognizing the fact that today, right now, there are millions of people across this nation struggling in their addiction. Also, there's many organizations across the city of Los Angeles in particular doing great work, and obviously in the city of Los Angeles alone, there's thousands of people and families celebrating successful recovery, 1 year, 2 years, 30 years, and so I appreciate you all taking time to recognize this. I'm the director of HOPICS, which is a division of special service for groups, and for the last 25 years plus, we have been helping some of the most vulnerable populations address substance use, in particular, as a councilman mentioned, homeless, low income, and we have placed over 15,000 people over the last 28 years into substance use treatment. Additionally, some of the things that we do in terms of treatment directly are there are families who have lost their children because of the child welfare system and the substance use issues, including some of the mothers standing here with us today. And we have worked successfully with hundreds of families to address their substance use issue and regain custody of their children and bring their families whole again. Also, one of the major populations dealing with substance use, obviously, is the criminal justice population. And so over the course of the last several decades, we have supported, in particular, several young African American and Latino young men to not only address substance use, but to reduce risky behaviors and ultimately minimize the likelihood of them returning back to prison. And so substance use is real. As we know, it's affecting our communities, it's affecting the families living in the city of Los Angeles. And so we appreciate the partnership with the city of LA, and we hope that you continue to recognize this and provide support to this area. Thank you.
Mr. Harris Dawson, if I could, or are you going to present more people? I can wait to the end.
I have a few more people to present, so I'll present them and then hand back to you. I thank you for that. As we know, addiction does not discriminate between classes or races or genders. I'm happy to be joined today, though, by a group of women. One of the other organizations that we want to recognize is A New Way of Life, a housing facility with facilities in the 8th Council District and the 9th Council District and the 15th that takes in women returning home from prison, often with substance abuse problems. There's a treatment environment there that allows women to rely on each other to get through the recovery process and turn their life around. A New Way of Life was recognized by Time Magazine and CNN. Its executive director, Susan Burton, became the Person of the Year. And so we have folks here from A New Way of Life. I'm going to call up a representative to speak on their behalf.
Welcome.
Good morning, Council. My name is Tiffany Johnson. I am Associate Director of A New Way of Life Reentry Project. And I just want to thank you, Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson, for celebrating and recognizing the recovery process in not only September, but all year round, right? And so A New Way of Life Reentry Project is, we have homes for women who are coming directly from county jail or prison, and we offer the services of a sober living environment, as well as the encouragement and the assistance on seeking the 12 steps and applying 12 steps to your daily, everyday living, because once you've been in the prison system, we tend to not function well back into society, only because there are so many different discriminations out there, right? And so the process of looking within and getting yourself together, as well as trying to provide for your children, the recovery in itself is so important, and to have people in your life that assist you and help you walk through these day-to-day tasks is wonderful. So again, Council Member, we thank you and we support you in all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
ladies and Mr. Harris, first of all, Mr. Harris Dawson, I want to thank you so very much for bringing these fine young ladies to council today. This very country was about second chances. It's not how many times you get knocked down. That's not what counts. It's how many times that you get back up. That's, at the end of the day, how you will be judged. It was just last, I want to say Thursday,
Wednesday, yeah.
that I had an opportunity to have dinner with a group of young ladies at a place called Friendly House, which is in my district. And these are young ladies that are recovering from alcohol abuse and substance abuse. And to watch this valiant fight, to see all of the individuals that are there to give them support, to help in my own small way means a lot. So whenever I am here, because all of our lives have been touched. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. All of our lives have been touched, and life is not a walk in the park. It's not a bowl of cherries, and it's not always easy. So I don't have the ability to articulate to each and every one of you how much I respect you and how much I appreciate all that you're doing to try to help others. And regardless of what the future holds, if somebody stumbles, just pick them back up and keep on going. Mr. Harris Dawson, this is a great thing that you bring before us today. And again, I just want to let all of you know how proud I am of each and every one of you, that I stand by each and every one of you, and that you are pillars of this earth. You're doing the Lord's work. And God bless you all. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Mr. Bonin? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson, for this presentation. And thank all of you for the work that you're doing and the example that you're setting and the experience and the hope and the strength that you're sharing. It's not a secret, because I haven't kept it as one, that I'm in recovery myself. 22 and a half years ago, I was in the throes of thank you. I was in the throes of addiction to alcohol and marijuana and cocaine, and most insidiously crystal meth. I did crystal meth every day for 2 or 3 years. I was down to 143 pounds at one point. I'm nowhere near that today. And the place that addiction takes you is really hard, I think, to describe to someone who hasn't been there, or to comprehend if you haven't been there. I was teetering on the verge of and falling into homelessness. I was not healthy. I was alone, and I felt desperate and small. And even with that knowledge of how bad I felt, it still took so long to finally surrender and turn it around. I mean, you all know. You all know. And boy, what a moment of incredible grace that was, when I stopped saying every day, the hell with it, and said, okay, I'm going to do something different. And it's not something that happens alone. It's something that is done together with you can call it a higher power, you can call it a sisterhood or a fellowship, or you can call it a village. But that's what it takes to do this. And thank you so much for being that village to so many, because that's how lives are going to change. Thank you very much.
Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bonin and Mr. Weston and members for joining in this celebration with me. And we, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, to everybody who's in recovery or in what I call pre-recovery, where they just haven't figured out yet that they're going to be in recovery, we want to formally recognize National Recovery Month in the City of Los Angeles. We're going to go take some pictures.
Again, congratulations to y'all. Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson. Okay, Mr. Sachs, come on up. Items 1, 19, 20, 21, and 23, public comment. We'll go 3 minutes, and then we'll go 1 general public comment minute.
3 minutes. Jeez. This is your city council, but not our time. Okay, 3 minutes. So I did hold item number 1. Again, it refers to building and safety inspections, but they can't read a blueprint. You know, you just lost a lawsuit for $200 million because they neglected to read blueprints for ADA compliant housing that the city didn't build, that the nonprofits built, that the developers built. The city got sued, lost $200 million. That's your city council at work. I held item 20, MICLA bonds. It's no big deal. But it refers to debt service payment. Now, recently, the County Board of Supervisors had a debt service payment on their agenda, and Metro had a debt service payment on their agenda. But in the county, it mentioned that they use sales tax revenue to figure out how they're going to service the debt. They use some portion of it is supplied by sales tax revenue. And the reason I bring this up is because, well, so recently, there was a story in the newspaper posting a public notice that Metro was doing a audit of Prop A and Prop C, which are sales taxes in the county. And Prop A, the sales tax revenue was like $640 million. And Prop C, the sales tax revenue was $760 million. There's a difference of $120 million. Well, if you're using sales tax revenue to figure out your debt service payment, and you have a difference of $120 million, first of all, how do you have a difference in $120 million and 2.5 cent sales tax? Well, we don't answer that question because we don't answer that question. But if you're going to go to a bank and you're going to lie to them and say you have $860 million when you only have $740 million, you're cooking the books. So how does your MICLA debt payment service be negotiated? AB 1290 funds, the funds that only go to the city council offices and not back to the city. And Quimby fees, two things here. These are licensed liability corporations, so there is no Prop 30 hit. There's no enhancement on the revenue because there's no direct ownership. It's subdivided, so there's no quality ownership. And Quimby fees again, for parks. You're paying 2 parks proposition. Well, right now it's one. The county wants to get you another one, like $60 a month. And you have 100 million a million parcels in the city. That's $60 million.
Okay,
Why are you so park poor?
Let's give him his general public comment time.
An item on their agenda where they're going to support the Olympics in 2024. I believe the county and the city council both wanted the governor to declare homelessness as an emergency. Well, the governor didn't decide to do it, so what have you done? We're going to have Olympics. So how do you tell your constituents on one hand, we don't have money for the streets? You just had an item on your agenda about not having crosswalks for people to walk in. We don't have money for water line repair. We don't have money for transit. We don't have money for housing. We don't have money for sidewalk repair. You know what we got money for? We got money for the Olympics. How does that work? Boston, if you remember, they turned down the Olympics, and there was an item in the newspaper. The story was they held up signs, better streets, better schools, better safety, and they turned down the Olympics. LA, worse problems, have the Olympics.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, you want to make the announcement where it relates to the items?
Yes. As I understand it, items number 7, 8, 9, 17, and 18, all of which relate to the Paramount development, will be continued to October 11th, 2016.
Okay, so there will be no hearing on those items today. Mr. Walsh, on items 1, 20, 23, and general public comment. Mr. Walsh? Where's
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. You must go there and see what's up there. Now, number 1, this is a public hearing on safety department code violations, inspection costs. In other words, when you do a good job, I'm the first. Some of these people are predictable. I'm a bunch of crooks. I'm an old white man, and you're all about. No. When you do a good job, and you do a good job in several areas, I'm the first to praise you, and just practically the only one to praise you. But you should realize that you're doing a good job on number 1. Now, the numbers, it is a violation. You haven't called number 20. First, city clerk has to call it, and then you have to hear the public comment. You cannot call public comment on a specific agenda item, but you think you can do anything you want.
No, speak on the item, Mr. Walsh.
Number 20 is okay. This is more helicopters. Black Lives Matter as targets. We do not need these helicopters. White people, Jewish white people, hate helicopters. It's about the only thing that blacks and Jews and Hispanics agree on when it comes to police is no helicopters. So now we're going to spend, Airbus helicopters, Air Support Division, $8,600,000. No. Okay, this is number 23. There'll be no debate on this. Everybody wants helicopters. Everybody who is taking campaign contributions from the helicopter people. Number 23 is the final maps. We always ask people to check your neighborhood because what happens here is when they want to build high-rises in your neighborhood, the first thing they go back is to track and change. They will not be able to do this in next March when we pass the initiative. We have an initiative that will prevent this. The discretionary neighborhood integrity initiative. Neighborhood integrity initiative, March, will prevent any changes. It will save your homes. And neighborhood integrity initiative on the ballot. It's already been placed on the ballot. Okay, now, for the 1 minute. No on Measure M. You'll be getting your ballot pretty soon. This is the perpetual tax. Forever and ever a 0.5% sales tax. To build what? The reason, why are the expo line filled? Because they've cut the bus service. The people who are riding the expo line are diverted bus riders. That's all. Let the traffic control say that the ridership, that the streets aren't as congested as they are. They are totally congested. If they're driving up, parking at the expo lines and getting on there, where are their goddamn cars? Because if you go out there right now to all those new parking lots, only people in there are people who are doing business there and aren't riders. No on M, BM. It's shit. Even the MTA board didn't vote unanimously for it. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, why don't, at this point, let's vote on items 21 and 23. So if you'd please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
If we could send 5 and item 23 forthwith. Okay, Ms. Pearman, you have item 1 and public comment. So, Madam Clerk, we'll give her a total of 3 minutes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just be real quick on the number 1. I just wanted to say that you're doing a good job on that because you're down to 2. So it's really fantastic to see you've gone from all the way like 25, 26 liens down to 2 liens. So apparently it looks like you're doing very good in that area. And I like to go straight to public comment now.
No, you only get 1 minute on public comment, so give her minute for public comment now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's shoot. Free internet will be taken from us October 1st. Ted Cruz wants to stop it. We need to keep the free internet. Fox News reported that Conservative Daily Post found out the Republican-Democrat debate was staged. Hillary Clinton had the questions beforehand, was able to rehearse them for a whole week, and that's why she was prepared. That's not right. Donald Trump wants to make America great again, not make it a larger Mexico. Hispanics who want a great America, I love for them to stay. If you don't want it to be in America, want it to make it Mexico, back to Mexico. Also, there with a federal shutdown, $1 trillion deficit, largely caused by Obama, Hillary, and the Democrats. We have nothing to show for it. More people unemployed, on food stamps, homeless. Hillary wants to continue his legacy. 30 years she never helped women, children, minorities, homosexuals. Why should she start now? You want 8 more years of going downhill? Vote for Hill. Otherwise, vote for Donald Trump. That's why I say vote for Donald Trump, not for Hillary Obama.
Okay, so Ms. Ramirez, you get a minute on item 20 and a minute for public comment. Please come down. Ms. Ramirez, Antonia Ramirez, please come down. A minute on item 20.
On item number 20, sir?
You get a minute on item 20 and then 1 minute on your public comment.
You said 20 and okay. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, finally, LA City Hall is finally taking notice of our superb Los Angeles Police Department kick-ass, hot mama, brilliant with highly coordinated raw reflexes and excellent air buffs. These gorgeous goddamn buffs. Our LAPD pilots watch over us night and day. They are under great and demanding stress, and I'm delighted and grateful for the 2 Airbus H-125 helicopters that have been procured for the Air Support Department. Now, if we can just add a few more items, like a state-of-the-art gym with saunas, whirlpools, hyperbaric chambers, swimming pool, a high-tech gym
we've moved
equipment,
off
a
topic,
rest,
Mr. President.
healing, and meditation rooms with classical and natural sounds
Stay on the
and
topic.
music. I think that would be wonderful. It really would stimulate their whole mind, body, soul, and spirits. Don't you think that that's an important part
Okay,
of the
give
city?
her 1 minute.
And one city, I'm sorry, and what else?
You have 1 minute. This is your public comment.
Oh, thank
now.
you very much. Thank you. This is about freedom, democracy, and principle. On 9/20/16, Monday night, about 8:43 p.m., I called the LAPD to file charges, assault charges against a housekeeping employee named Rosa Torres at the Music Center Grand Park for charging at me as I was leaving the park. She came from behind me and stood yelling, "Pinche cabrona loca," etc., and started kicking my shopping cart, and it pushed me, and she kept kicking and knocking my cart down and flailing her arms at me and threatening me that she was going to take me on. I never touched her, but I told her I was going to call the police, and Jose kept telling her, "No, párale, párale, párale." And now at the Grand Park, the LAPD Police Department later came after I called them, but the security, Devin Taylor, never called the police department nor stopped her. And I kept asking him, "Stop her, stop her." And finally, the LAPD Officer Guzman and Officer Castellano came.
Thank you.
And so
Thank you.
Sergeant
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's vote on item 20 now, Madam Clerk. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Akala, you get 1 minute on item 1 and 1 minute for general public comment. Juan Akala. Juan Akala, come forward. Mr. Krikorian.
Is making his way forward. Can I ask that item 20 be sent forthwith, please?
Without objection.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Time. Go ahead.
What do
Item
I
1.
have? I have how many minutes?
You're on item 1.
Item 1. How many minutes?
You're on item 1, Mr. Akala.
I know. All I got is 52
You have
seconds.
You have 1 minute. You're on item 1.
I thought I had.
You're on item 1, or I'm going to take your time.
Okay, item 1. You know damn well that it's wrong to put liens on people. On item 4, you talk about homelessness.
No, you got to stay on item
and
1. I don't have
item 1,
cards.
you talk about putting liens on people that already have a home, so you create more homelessness. So are you talking out of both sides of your mouth like Donald Trump, or what? Do you need a chorizo right up your mouth?
No. Let's stay on item 1.
Item 1 is liens against people. Once again, you should eliminate all liens against people that own a place already. Do not create more homelessness, you assholes.
Okay, now give him his general public comment.
Generally, public speaking is like saying, like Donald Trump, go fuck yourself, put a chorizo up your mouth, put a cactus up your ass, and the Mexicans are going to take care of you, motherfucker. You know? We're going to build a wall around your house so you can't get out, you asshole. That's what we're going to do. That fucking racist does not deserve a place in politics. You cannot be as racist as he is and get away with everything. You know who's voting for him? All the fucking rednecks. If you want to be a redneck, even though you're black, you can be a redneck. You know, it's just a matter of the way you think. You think that the United States deserves to take everything away from everybody. Donald Trump, why didn't we take the oil? Why didn't we take the oil? The oil is not yours, motherfucker.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's now vote on item 19. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Okay, Jacqueline.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Jacqueline, the general public comment. Jacqueline Richardson, Charles Chang, and Mr. Spindler. Charles, if that's you, come on general public comment. Miss Richardson, come on down. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, President Wesson and council members. My name is Charles Chang. I'm here to speak on City Ordinance 183893, which is soft-story building retrofit program for earthquake. And there are two city agencies that's heavily involved in this. One is, of course, the Building and Safety, which ensures the engineering standards that you said are met. And there is a housing department that want to make sure that the tenants not adversely impacted by this activity. And that's fine. But the way that two programs are linked is causing a problem. There is a catch-22 situation here. And that the reason is that Building and Safety will not issue a permit until Housing Department approves what they call tenant habitability plan. It asks for many specific questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Thank you. Your time's expired.
I thought it was 5 minutes.
No, it's not. It's not.
Sorry.
It's 1 minute. Okay, let's vote on item 1. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Ms. Richardson, please come forward.
14 ayes.
Thank you.
This is in regard to the Triforia. As you know, it's located
Give her
across
time.
the street, directly west of City Hall, right across the street, directly west of City Hall. It looks like 3 gigantic surfboards that they surf in the ocean. It's made of cement. It's covered in different colors of plastic. It was meant to dispense music and lights. It's a good idea. It hasn't worked continuously since Mayor Rorden, Mayor Hahn, Villalobos, and now Garcetti. I believe there was some misunderstanding between the people that made the Triforia and City Hall. Otherwise, if he had told the mayors it wasn't working, I'm sure they would have fixed it. They must have spent 500 times more money on it than they paid for it because it hasn't been working. It's really a good idea because it's supposed to dispense music and lights.
Mr. Spindler.
It's good. Thank you for the bullshit meeting. I appreciate it. It's good. Now you continued 5555 Melrose Avenue. Why? Because all the powerful people were here today. That's why. Anytime people of wealth come to challenge you, you go into closed session, and then you come out, and then you sound like chickens. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And that's why you continue. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. And you're going to send it back to Weezer? Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. He's a chicken. The plum chicken? You can't send it to a plum chicken. You have to send it to a rooster. You got to send it to a rooster. Or give it to the pig. And I will deny it with prejudice. Fuck the project.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any other business before this body? I didn't hear you.
Council has motions for posting a referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements. Hold on 1 second. But our clerk, Holly, has asked me to, Walcock, to indicate that today is National Voter Registration Day. So if you haven't registered to vote, please let's have a big influx of voters today. Any other announcements? If I could ask, well, in fact, let me look to my right side. Are there any adjourning motions on my right? Any adjourning motions on my left? Okay, if all could rise for adjourning motions, all rise. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members. This is a tough weekend in arts and entertainment. We lost two trailblazers and folks I call game changers over the weekend. First, fellow Morehouse graduate and actor. A group of three actors were at Morehouse College in the late 1970s. Spike Lee, Samuel Jackson, and Bill Nunn. The three of them went on to change the landscape in cinema, first producing School Days and then Do the Right Thing, which created a whole new market in film. Actor Bill Nunn was the person who played Radio Raheem in Do the Right Thing. He walked around with the boombox and had the rings that said love and hate and talked about the battle of love and hate in life. Mr. Nunn moved here to Los Angeles after his career got started, was very active in helping young African Americans and Latinos make their way into the entertainment industry, both behind and in front of the camera. We lost him on Friday at the age of 62 to cancer. Our second adjourning motion is for Kashif Salim. He was born Michael Jones in 1959. He was in foster care from the time he was born. His parents abandoned him in the hospital. He went to public schools, learned to play the flute in third grade with a $3 flute someone had given him as a gift. He went on to become a very accomplished musician in middle school. In high school, he left school to join the band called the BT Express, which had the big song, Do It Till You're Satisfied. He left that group and became a solo artist and really took music, filled the gap between disco and hip-hop, and so produced for such people as Shalimar. He brought us Whitney Houston's first album and debuted other artists such as Evelyn Champagne King. He was a very ardent and active foster care activist during all of his time here in Los Angeles. He organized the Revlon Walk for foster care here in Los Angeles. He, on an annual basis, paired at least 250 foster care kids with mentors, put them on a big cruise boat, and took them out on a sailing out of San Pedro along the California coast every year until this year. And we lost him at the age of 56 this past Sunday.
And where it relates to Mr. Nunn, I mean, he was a phenomenal actor. A lot of people just don't give him credit for that. But there's a movie with Harrison Ford, I think maybe Annette Bening, regarding Henry. If you ever watched that, he has a role in that. So I was shocked personally by that because I really enjoyed his work. So I'm looking left. Any more adjourning motions to my left? Mr. Koretz?
Mr. President, I do think we should adjourn in memory of a golf legend that has died recently, Arnold Palmer, who was known as the king of golf by some. He was a remarkable golfer who timed his career well with the advent of television. Yes. And so he was really the person that was watched at the height of his abilities, which were in the 50s and 60s. He won, I think, something like 62 tournaments and I think 7 major tournaments. Had a very well-publicized rivalry with Jack Nicklaus. And one of the things that made him the most notable is he had a very unorthodox style. He always tried to get to the hole in the shortest amount of time and took risky shots, and sometimes he would win tournaments that he should have lost because of it, and sometimes he would lose tournaments that he should have won because of it. He also, among other things, will always be remembered for a drink that is ordered at every restaurant every day, the Arnold Palmer. which is a mixture of lemonade and iced tea. And I sometimes remind my servers of that and say, do you remember who Arnold Palmer was? And all the ones who are too young don't, so they get a little history lesson from me. Arnold Palmer was really the person that made golf what it was at just the right time when it really was kind of waning. A notable person in many ways, also did many charitable things, and he will be sorely missed.
And yes, he will. And he helped take golf and really put it on the national stage. He made it financially. He changed it where it became, from a financial perspective, a successful business to enter. He was also one of the first golfers that kind of slid into commercials, and I think a lot of what you see going on today in golf can be traced all the way back to Mr. Palmer's start. So that's a very fitting adjourning motion. So I see no more adjourning motions. With that said, members, this council meeting is adjourned.